Hey, Nation, Harry Brailsford here with Frank Ohlhorst. It is a new year, a new decade. Sir, I can still say Happy New Year, Happy New Decade.
Sure, I could say the same thing to you, Harry.
There we go. I don't want to tip the audience off on how many decades we've been in the business, but I, I remember the decade of what they called local area networks. Okay, I was there.
Yep, and I remember when Televideo launched InfoShare, which became NetWare eventually.
There we go. Well, you got me on that one. Frank, with that forward-looking view, very simple question. Is this the year? Is this the year of Azure and SMB? You and I have talked about this for a couple of years, and there were some roadblocks primarily concerning cost and licensing, but now you're seeing some firms take a run at it. Frank, is this the year?
Hopefully it is. Not only Azure, but a lot of the other, shall we call them, enhanced cloud services providers or infrastructure as a service or platforms as a service, whatever acronym, PaaS, IaaS, whatever acronym you want to throw around them nowadays. There seems to be a lot more momentum behind these becoming a viable way for small and medium businesses to kind of get off of the tried and true off-prem solutions and move more into the cloud.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Now, you kind of made mention that there's other solutions out there. I am not picking up in our chatter, our national security apparatus chatter, but we are hearing a lot about Azure. There's a couple players out there that are starting to brand around Azure and SMB for MSPs. But what I'm not hearing, Frank, is AWS. That isn't part of the conversation with the chatter we're picking up. How about yourself?
When it comes to the small and medium business market, you're not seeing AWS do kind of this direct push in that direction, but they are kind of engaging with, their partners who would engage with their partners that would go after the SMB market. Now,
Hmm.
you take a look at AWS having talks with, our traditional distributors out there, at that higher level where, the distributors, control the relationship, and then the distributors reach out to their reseller partners with these solutions which are targeted towards their customers. So, we're adding extra tiers, I guess, into what is going on. Microsoft, on the other hand, is directly approaching kind of the partner community and is trying to partner up with folks like you mentioned, ShareWeb and whatnot, because they've, had the successful relationship when it comes to Office 365 and M365 through these, for lack of a better term, these sort of distributors of the services, which
Yeah.
reach directly out to the MSPs and other solution providers who can then bring it to their small and medium business customers. So I think we're seeing a better execution of working through the channel from Microsoft.
Yeah, I would agree. I think there's what I would call incremental natural maturity going on with the Azure conversation because a couple of years ago, Frank, I couldn't even get people on the Azure team inside Microsoft, a couple of which came from the SBS era, right? And they moved on. And I couldn't even have dialogue with them about small business, about SMB. They were not open and receptive to even taking their precious time to have a dialogue.
I think realistically, they weren't ready for the conversation. Azure, was conceived as something to go after the Fortune 5000.
Yeah.
And it was conceived in such a fashion that they were going to tackle large business data centers to help them transform into the cloud. So the small and medium business market was not part of the conversation. It was kind of left out. And I think it was also came down to the fact that they wanted to make sure it would work and work well in the enterprise space before even trying to approach the small and medium business market, because the small and medium business market kind of lack that internal expertise to deal with
Yeah.
something that is potentially complex, where an enterprise, has, large staffs of IT internalized, which will work with cloud services.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good insight. Well, I'll tell you what, I sure appreciate this kickoff around the horn conversation with you, my friend. We'll check in on Azure periodically and other topics. Speaking of which, there's a third that just popped into my mind, but there's sort of the third player with IBM in that same space. And Frank, I know I'll be seeing you in May in San Francisco, I believe, at the IBM Think Conference again. That's one of the
Yep.
things you and I find ourselves at every year. So now you know what I know. See how it
um,
goes.
Yep. Yeah. IBM is a potential player. I think Microsoft has a head start over everybody, and there's going to be a lot to talk about this year with Azure and the services they're going to offer towards the small businesses, and a lot of opportunity for the solution providers out there, thanks to what Azure's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, be good, my friend. We'll talk to you in about a month. Thank you very much, Frank.
Great. Thank you.